Hey, welcome back to another episode of the She's Making an Impact podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Ngom. Today, we're talking all about what makes an engaging leader. Leadership is such a big topic, and it's such an important topic that we're going to be talking about it for the entire month of June, all about leadership. And so today we're talking about what makes an engaging leader, but honestly, this is a subject that we need to go deep into. And also I want to invite you to go deep too. I'm going to share some book recommendations, some people that I've learned from, all different kinds of things around leadership, because everything rises and falls on leadership. That is a John Maxwell quote. And he's one of the people that I have learned a lot from when it comes to leadership. And this is probably the most important thing that you the most important skill set that you can develop as you grow your business, because as you grow your business, you're going to be working with people, and as you work with people, you're going to need to lead them to actually take action. Okay. So today I'm only going to be covering 5 things, but just so you know what to expect, we're talking about this all June because it's important. So I would love to hear from you. What, in your opinion, makes a good leader? So as you think of leadership, who stands out to you? Who is somebody that you think of when you think of leadership? And so just have that person in your head. I remember very clearly, I went to a Danny Johnson conference. Maybe this was 11 years ago, which is wild. Time flies. And I remember going to, this was her advanced conference. What was it even called? Yeah. I'll think about it. And at that, one of the nights, what she had us do was watch a Nelson Mandela movie, Invictus. And we were supposed to watch this movie and just watch Nelson Mandela with the intention of what is he doing that's making him a strong leader, and just take notes on his leadership style. And the things that I noticed is, man, he just loved all people. He was an engaging leader because I saw him just connecting with every single person on his team. And it wasn't just the people that he's ooh, these people can help me. No, it was the people that were serving him tea, the people that were waiting on, he really took an interest and cared about people that were in his care. So when I think of an engaging leader, I think about him watching that movie 11 years ago, because that really stood out to me. Whoa. Leadership is not a position, right? It's not a level of authority. It's not something that you're just given. It's something that you're earned by working with people, right? So one of the things I wanted to talk about is empathy as a leader. Empathy as one of those key things of being an engaging leader. So it's really understanding the people that you're leading, what's going on with them. What are the feelings that they're having, the thoughts that they're having, the experiences that they're having. And so it's really important, as we're leading people, we're creating a safe space for them to share, what's actually going on with them. We want to be able to support them. So they open up to you, and they know that if they're sharing something with you, it's a safe space. And you're gonna with my people, I'm I just want to help. If you're working with me, I want to serve you. I want to be able to support you. And I want you to feel valued and an important part of the team. And so if you have something going on that might, even if it doesn't affect their work, if it affects them and their life, I want to know about it. And that way I'm okay, we can be praying about this person. We can do, can I do something that's going to support them? I just want them to feel supported, loved, and valued ultimately. When someone comes to work with me, I never want them to think of you're just a person on our team that's going to help us reach this big goal. That's never what I want. I want everyone just to feel supported, valued, and loved. And ultimately, that comes down to me having the empathy to understand what's going on with them. And as I'm talking about leadership, I want you to also know I am not a perfect leader. This is an area that I am constantly growing in, and I am learning, and I am failing, and I am making mistakes. And as I make those mistakes, I'm okay, well, that's something that we won't repeat. That's something that was a lesson learned. So as I'm sharing from my own personal experience, but also from I've read many books on leadership over the years. And again, this is an area that we're continuously growing in and getting better in. I even think of John Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. This was for, when did he write this book? It was like for 20 years. This was the #1 leadership book that people were talking about. And John goes back 20 years after he wrote it, and he rewrote basically the entire book, even though it was still being used as like the top leadership book. Why did he do that? He goes, because I've grown as a leader, I've evolved. I want to update this book with the things that I have learned. So even though he wrote like the #1 leadership book, he still went back because he's getting better. He's continuing to grow as a leader. Now that he's in his 70s, he's probably pushing 80. I got to meet him. He's a great guy. Book recommendations, as we're talking about John Maxwell, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership is a really good one, as is the 5 Levels of Leadership. Okay. As we're talking about empathy, a lot, when I think of empathy, I also think of just connecting with your people. And so if someone's coming to you with something, I think of, I have my notes here. James 1:19, my dear brothers and sisters, understand this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. And so if we're always trying to like get our opinions across or voice heard, we don't have the time to actually listen when people have something that they want to share with us. And so we got to be able to just let them speak. Let them speak. If they have something on their mind, you don't have to cut in because you think that you're right or you have something that like share. Just let them speak whatever is on their mind and listen to them, because they might have something important they need to share with you. And then you might be able to like give them feedback or whatever that looks like. Okay. All right. Next one is gratitude. So gratitude it's so important. A lot, like money is important. Like we want to be able to pay our people well, but gratitude is really, really important too. Just letting our people know like, hey, I see you. You're doing a good job. Like if someone, Jenny's going to be creating the show notes for this. Hi, Jenny. And I'm like, I want to use the example of her with this. She put together like our entire retreat in France. She worked her butt off. And I saw her like taking the train, or she was like driving, going back and forth into town and like doing all these things, getting it set up for us. And I was like, Jenny, you're doing it. Like, I see how hard you're working. Just thank you. Like, I like just letting your people know, I see you. Thank you. Like, I see the work that you're putting in, and just showing that gratitude and acknowledging them for that hard work. And she was like, oh my gosh, this has been so much work. Thank you. I needed that. Like, I needed that to keep going. Right. So just taking the time to acknowledge your people and say, thank you. I see you. I value you. I appreciate you. That goes such a long way. It doesn't take a ton of extra effort or time on your part. And especially if you can get specific with something of like, I see how hard you're working at this, or I see that you've been able to improve upon this. Like, wow, this is making such an impact. So letting them know like the impact that they're actually making is huge. All right. Number 3, delegation as an important part to becoming an engaging leader, because hello, you can't do it all on your own, nor should you. So you need to be able to delegate tasks and responsibilities. And this will demonstrate like you trust your people, right? You trust that they're able to actually get the job done. And this is going to help you reach higher levels of success and growth in your company. And I have done a lot of different episodes on our show just around delegation and, hiring different people on your team. But it's really, really important for you to understand that you can't do it all. You have to let go of some stuff. And you need to empower other people to take on those tasks. And that's going to help you grow even quicker. Okay. Number 4, integrity. So this is essential. Like, we have to always lead with integrity. We always have to look at like, what's the right thing to do in this situation? Because you're going to have situations come up as you're leading that it's not necessarily so black and white. And so we always have to look at like, what's the right thing to do? What's the right thing to do? We want to make sure that we're consistent with our word. We want to make sure we're consistent with our actions, and that we demonstrate, like, we live out our values and what we actually believe. Okay. And that goes with like showing transparency with certain situations. It just creates that ultimate level of trust with your team, with, everything that you're doing, and making people feel secure and confident in working with you. So integrity is huge. And it's not always going to be the easy thing to do. You're going to make some decisions that it requires your integrity, but it's going to be hard. And you always look at like, what's the right thing to do in this situation? And the last one that I have here for today is courage. Courage. Leading with courage is so important. Man, like as you're leading people, as you're a change maker, you're an impact maker, there's going to be things that will require you to step out of your comfort zone. And we're going through many right now. And I will create, as we're going through stuff and like making changes, I have plenty of podcast episodes to share with you on like, we're going through some major changes that are requiring a lot of courage. And just think of like all the difficult situations that you're coming across. I wrote down, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing what you're afraid to do. So that doesn't mean we're not afraid. It means we do it anyways. We let go of the familiar and we forge into new territories. And ultimately, like what this comes down to for me is just letting God lead. And we're making decisions right now. And I'm like, I have no idea how this is going to play out, but God told me to make this decision and we're going to do it. And I'm just going to be obedient and we're going to see where it happens. And, does that mean I experience fear sometimes? Absolutely. But I also know like it is all going to work out and it's all going to be okay. And we get to make some of those hard and scary decisions in the midst of the fear that we experience going along with it. Okay. All right. Which one stood out to you the most? So we talked about empathy, gratitude, delegation, integrity, and courage. And if you found this helpful, please share it with a friend. And don't forget to please leave a review on iTunes. That helps us reach more people. And before you submit your review, just take a screenshot and email it to us at clientcare@rachelngom.com. And I have a gift for you as a way to say thank you. So, all right, I hope you have a great rest of your day and we'll talk soon. Bye.